Everyone, welcome to this video. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas around here. That is a fact. And we're kind of continuing with the flip-flocking. Let's not flip-flock, shall we? We're continuing with the flip-flopping back and forth between fall makes and Christmas makes, and I got no excuses. We're just here for it. So today I have a very wonderful thing I want to share with you. My mixed media side's coming out, but it's still going to support all the storytelling. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You may see here a bunch of bottles on my table. Yes, I have brand new Distress Mica Stain. I'm trying to pull together here the colors that are packaged together. I have two sets here. These are the two Christmas. This is basically Ranger Christmas Distress 2022. And so I believe this is set 4, and it includes Cocktail Party, Merry Mint. See what they did there with Merry Mint? Adorable. And Shiny Bauble. Very beautiful, very bright, very festive, and gorgeous mica shimmer. It's just so beautiful. Okay, then we have, and I believe this is set 3 in the collection, and it is Tart Cranberry and Fresh Balsam and Winter Frost. And I'm going to share with you right now what I have already crafted, and I'm going to show you how to make the same thing. This is the very beginnings of this year's December album, and I'm just playing around with ideas, and I have a lot of them. I actually have quite a few. Oh, that's not even closed. I actually have quite a few ideas already for this year's album, but playing around with some ideas and playing around with this Distress Mica Stain, came up with this little make, and you might be familiar with a couple of these things. I have ScrapbookCom's patterned Christmas. I just so in love with it, and it's definitely going to be fueling the album this year. Then I have what I shared recently is the layered plaid from Sizzix and Tim Holtz, and then on top of that is my make. And this is a combination of brand new Distress as well as some ScrapbookCom stencils, and it's a layered stencil, and I just thought it was a lot of fun against this backdrop. Just a lot of different patterns, a lot of kind of what I call juxtaposition. Of course, my ribbon and layers and floating, and it's just all there. So let me share with you what it is that I did here. So as I go through prepping this tutorial today, I'm just going to share with you the products as I come along. This is brand new Distress. It's gray two-tone wood grain. You might get a better picture of it here. Can you see that wood grain? It's very beautiful. It's definitely two-tone, and it can be a what do I do with this? Especially since we don't do a whole lot of mixed media here. I get that, and I'm going to share with you what I did with this. I'm also using today from ScrapbookCom. It's called Winter Floral, and it's a layered stencil, 6x8 stencil. The first is the trees, the second is like a star and like a kind of like a quasar kind of star. And when it's layered together, and you can see it here, well, actually the way I did it is like this. Can you see how I've layered that? I layered the little stars on top of the tree. I just really like that. I don't know if you can see that. You'll see it when I make it, and you can see it in the make that I already did. So I'm going to be using this with some of the Distress Mica Stain. I also have here brand new grit paste, Snowfall. It's just that. It's this gritty little paste that looks like snow. It's going to be my star or my quasar. I know that might sound a little weird, but trust me, it works. But what we're going to need for that, I discovered in my play, is this Distress glaze to kind of give a coating, if you will, to our Distress Stain so that this doesn't pick up the color. And you'll see what I mean as we get to that. So let's get started on that. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I have trimmed my wood grain paper 3.5 to 4.5, and I have here the Merry Mint, and this one wants to leak a little bit, and you don't want all this of the mica to be sitting at the bottom. So you need to be giving it a really good shake And so I'm kind of giving it a roundhouse here. And I check the bottom every once in a while, make sure that mica wants to move. And so that's what's happening here. Then what I'm going to do is, when I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and take my Distress sprayer and just give a couple spritzes here to the surface of the wood grain paper, because I want the mica to move a little bit on it. And I don't actually need a lot of this spray. You can see it's pretty intense. It covers pretty well. I'm going to grab more paper towel and kind of daub it up. And the reason I decided to daub it was that I didn't want the big splotches from the spray to be what was left behind when this dried. So I'm actually going to go in there with a little more water and kind of move that around a little bit so that, again, it's not sticky. And one thing you can do too is you can kind of rub over it, and you're going to have a really light color. But as I do this, I'm going to go back over it again after I dry it and just give it a little bit more color. This is pretty dry now. You saw me dry it in with my heat tool, but I'm going to still set it aside. In the meantime, I'm going to grab the fresh balsam and my texture paste, and I'm just going to add a little bit here to the surface of my silicone mat. I don't really need a whole lot. I mean, I'm only covering this surface, right? And I don't really want to waste it because I'm going to color it, so I can't put it back inside of its container. And so the fresh balsam is going to come into play. Now, at first I kind of questioned my use of the fresh balsam, I'll just be honest with you, but I decided that this pattern paper here kind of had some warms and some cool greens going on with it. So I'm like, you know what? We're just going for it, and we're going to have a good time. So after I have got all that mica mixed in, because I do want some to be part of this color here, I'm just going to add about 2 squirts here to the texture paste. I'm just going to mix that in. One of the things I love about this silicone mat is just how easy it is for everything to clean up. So I kind of keep it here close to my work surface, and then just utilize it when pull it over when I need it. So at this point, I'm just going to come in here with the tree, trying to decide. I think I'm going to do that. I want just a little bit of space up here for the second layer, because remember I was going to come over with that and make the star and the, what I call a quasar, the tree topper. Although that's not how this stencil is supposed to go, but you know, once these products are in your possession, you can make them work however you want. That's just the thing. That is our creative prerogative right there. All right, see how I didn't hardly need any of this at all? And so I'm going to lift that up, and you just have now both the fresh balsam and this Merry Mint playing together on this card. I don't know if you can pick up on the shimmer that the wood grain paper has, but it's really pretty. It just makes for kind of a little bit of a different little Christmassy vibe here. For me anyway, I like it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry really well. In the meantime, I'm going to go clean up my stencil and my knife and my silicone mat. Okay, while that is drying, I want to share something else with you. And actually, I have it kind of made already. I don't have it kind of made. I actually have it made if I can get it. Okay, it's this. It's just a tag with so much potential. I mean, it could be a pocket. You could cut it out. But here's the thing. This is from actually, this is using both the Winter Frost and the Shiny Bubble. And what I did here, I took the texture paste and this Peppermint Winter 6x8 stencil from ScrapbookCom, and I texture pasted my Distress paper. So this is Distress Heavy Stock. I just cut it to about a tag size. So it's about 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So that way it's just great size. If I want to make it for a tag, it's already a great size for a tag. If I want to use it somewhere else, it's already ready. It's going to be a great background. This is basically just a great background. Okay, this is what I did next. I need to shake, shake, shake. Let me get my right colors here. Come on, Jane. There we go. I started off with the shiny bauble. Oh, I can't even hear the little shaker ball. There it is. Shake, shake, shake. Okay. And just straight onto this stenciled tag, I added color. Just like that. Then I did the same thing with the shaking with the Winter Frost. Don't you love these names? Oh, I love the names. They're so good. I mean, this color makes me think of Winter Frost. Okay. I'm happy with that. And shake here. I'm going to spray here in the kind of the corner and spray down here at this corner. You see that? All right. I'm going to go ahead at this point and start daubing. And especially over where these sort of snowflakes are. And you can see here my color is just a little more rich, so I think I'm going to do a couple things. I am going to just get a little bit of water on here. All right, I'm good with that. And I'm going to come back in here with the shiny bauble. I need to shake it again. But you get the idea. I mean, like, right, and like no two backgrounds are ever going to be the same, which is okay. It's okay. And just going to add a little bit more color up there and a little more down here. Okay, then I'm going to go and daub some more, especially over my snowflakes. So do you see? Can you see how the snowflakes, the texture paste isn't a resist, but the color does not take the same as the paper. And then actually you can do something else. You can come in here like this with your stencil. I've done this before with a couple of different techniques. A little bit of water there on your paper towel and go and just clean off the raised effect of the snowflake with your paper towel and water. And you're going to get even more of that raised effect. I think this is fantastic. I love this look so much. And you can really see the mica play through on this. So this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this particular make. Okay, let's check and see if this is dry yet. I'm at 7,000 feet. These things tend to dry pretty quick. Okay, at this point, this is actually first time seen on TV. This is the first time I've ever done this right here. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the Distress glaze just with my finger and I'm going to apply it right above each of my trees. And what I discovered when I first, actually you can see it on my sample. You can see the dimension of the stars, but the color isn't great because as I added that, as I stenciled over the stars, it completely picked up the color on the wood grain paper. So I thought, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. I need to sort of seal that. And so that's what this is right here. Now, according to directions, since I've never done this before, you guys loving this yet? You're supposed to buff off the excess. So I'm going to come in here as best I can. I don't really want to give too much distress to these poor little trees in here. And I know this might be, you might be saying, James, this just doesn't really interest me at all. I get that. That's fine. Okay, so this is actually almost done because at this point, I am going to come back in here with my layering stencil and I can see through where the trees are. And therefore, I can just kind of pop my stars right above the trees. And it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be not above the tree. And so literally, I basically made a mistake earlier when I was creating a sample, and then I liked my mistake, which is really what happens, which is why I think we should play like this and make stuff and get a little messy and see what happens, because you might really like it. It's a true story. It's happened again and again. And how many times have I gone back and looked at something I've made, and it can be part of a December album or a fall album, and I'm just like, God, I just really love that so much. It's the make that gets me as much as the storytelling a lot of times, not all the time. I mean, I'm definitely here for getting the stories and the words on paper, but sometimes when you make a thing and you're kind of impressed with yourself, it's just fun. See, this is how this is supposed to look. Oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled this worked out. Can you see now the white stars compared to this? It's definitely so much better. Oh, this, I think, and I got a little off. I'm okay. I'm living with it. I love, there's this great height with this snowflake texture paste as well. Oh, and that's another thing. While we're on that subject, you realize too, we could go back in here with our stencil right back over where we originally, and we could add that snowflake texture paste. I'm not going to do it this time. It's just an idea that I came up, and it's free for the taking. Now that we have this all done, I'm using the first one that I did, but you can tell the difference. You can see the white, and that didn't show up so well. So this little Distress glaze is a wonder. What I want to do next is just show you how I created this page element. It's just a matter of layers, and one of the things that came out of this that I'm really starting to see even more light on is just the power of having things pre-made. Like this little singular piece of the plaid layers from Sizzix, I've already had that cut, and so I just grabbed it out of, I keep all of my Christmas kind of stashed together. And so that was stashed with a whole bunch of scrap bits, and I just grabbed it, and I like the white on it because I like how it kind of separates the background from the little bit of busyness that's found here on this mixed media piece. So I liked that. Then I will link this below. I love seam binding, mostly because I can color it and customize it to any color that I want. And this was colored with the fresh balsam, as well as a little bit of the merriment, like a little bit, just to kind of help give it like the color that you're kind of seeing here on this background. And I really did take a lot of my inspiration from this background pattern paper, the colors. If you're ever kind of wondering, well, what colors do I want to make with, like, grab your favorite piece of paper and go for it. All right, like I very often do, grabbing this 2-inch foam double-sided adhesive. I want to build up my label here. So I layered 2 pieces of that foam, and I need to get it on there straight. There we go. And I'm just kind of snuggling it up here against my ribbon. And because I have adhesive on here from earlier, but because it's built up like it is, then it's just going to fit on there really super easy. Now I can grab an 1/8 inch of the double-sided adhesive foam, or I'm just going to cut a strip here from the 2-inch little leftover that I had. And what I did was stamped a phrase with Wordfetti December. Some of my most favorite stamps are word stamps, and this is no less. And that just kind of pops up there. This could also be a beautiful tag if you wanted to make it maybe a little slimmer. The possibilities are endless, and I hope you see that this can support your storytelling as well as it can support your gift making for this season. So I appreciate you so much for staying here through the end and watching this video. If you like what you saw today, thumbs up. Love to hear your comments on the brand new Distress, and I will see you in the next video.